Hi, everyone. I'm Coni Meyers, and welcome back to day 2 of the Unthinkable Summit. Yesterday, we talked a lot about different situations and different things that happen in different aspects of life and business and how to overcome it when there is a crisis or disaster. Today, we're going to continue that conversation, and I have to tell you, one of my favorite people on the planet is about to join us. I've known her now for several years. I'm part of her mastermind group. She's definitely a mentor and a very, very dear friend. So Kim White, come on up to the stage. Thank you for joining, my dear. How are you? Uh-oh, no sound. This can't be happening. I can't hear you.
Leave and I'll come
there
back.
you are. Now there you are.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Huh. I didn't want to have happen what happened yesterday. Oh my God.
That's so funny. It's terrible when you have tech issues. I consider that to be a disaster.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second, because I've done enough Hope to Hopes with you, and you've done enough Kick Butt Leadership Conferences with me that we've seen more than our fair share. And I actually talked about it on To 70 and Beyond this morning, how glitches and things that go wrong, whether it's technology or in our personal life, there's always a gift or an opportunity in it. And Kim does every single year, she does an event called Hope to Hope. It's in honor of her son who died when he was 14. Was that right? 14?
Almost 14.
Almost 14, from a hunting accident. Anyway, she does it in honor of him. And the very first one that she did, she had never used or turned on Be Live TV because she wanted to prove that you could do it even if it's messy. And I think that's been my motto ever since. I'm kind of following in her footstep because it always seems like there's some little thing that doesn't go exactly the way I want it to. But you know what? Nothing's supposed to go exactly the way we want it to, right?
I think that's a really good example, though, of your entire conference and your entire outlook on life. Is it may not be what we expect or what we ask for, but it can be really beautiful. Like, it can turn into something so amazing, because that conference has turned into something amazing, no matter how many times we have tech glitches and things happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I in the teaser that I put out about you, I did mention the fact that you went from homeless to owning an oil company, and that's a long story, I know. But what was it? What was it like to be able to start making that transition, and what was the inspiration for you to say, okay, this is how I have to move forward? And it's an incredible story. And so take it away and give us a short version of it, as short as you can.
I'll try not to be too emotional, just to make sure my mascara doesn't run. But, you know, there's really something that happens inside a mama when you are literally putting your babies to bed on cardboard boxes in the back of a warehouse, because we literally were running for our lives. We were not in a great situation. We had been isolated, and then my ex-husband, my kid's dad, he wasn't okay, and he was really seriously going to kill us. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a he talked ugly to me one time, or it was serious. And I was at a loss as to what I was going to be able to do, because we walked away with what we had on, and that was it. Couldn't really contact anyone, couldn't really, we were just really isolated. And so I had a lot of decisions to make. What do you do when you find yourself without a home, with babies to feed, and life is happening? Nothing that I wanted to happen at that moment was happening. But I will tell you, some of the best blessings come out of those times when it's so hard. I learned how to do things, and it wasn't a overnight, transition. It was a long transition. It took years to go from that position, level up a little again, and continue to build a life out of that rubble. But I did exactly that. I went from, not knowing what to do to creating a plan, and continuing to create new plans, and continuing to grow, and continuing to grow myself and my babies. We went through a lot, but the outcome was beautiful in the end, because in the end I did end up as the CEO of an oil and gas company. I founded the company, and to tell me, like, the night that I put them to bed like that would ever have happened, I wouldn't have believed anyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, and then I love the story. So you had the oil company, you're sitting on up in the top floor, looking out over the lakes in the building that you were in, and you decided that this wasn't really what you wanted for your life. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I had gotten what I asked for, which I feel like I had figured that out in life. If you get very clear about what you want, you can get it, and you can get it pretty quickly. And I had gotten what I asked for. I wanted an office building full of people, doing things, and all of this busyness that I didn't realize that is really what it was. And we were helping people, we were impacting lives. But as I'm looking out that window and the sun is rising, I'm realizing this has turned into my like box of, I can't get out of this. I can't go anywhere. I can't travel, which I wanted to travel terribly. Couldn't do any of those things because it was consuming. So I did what no one around me wanted me to do. I will say that I did not have people like jumping on board with this, but I made an exit strategy that morning and did that very thing to create the business that I have now.
Well, I think there's lots of people out there that are in a position whether that they feel like they're in some kind of a crisis, or it is maybe the business isn't going well, especially since the pandemic. There's a lot of people out there that have had to pivot or change exactly what it is they're doing. And I think the important point of what you say is you need to really listen to your heart and figure out what it is that you really want to do. If you, in fact, create something that isn't what you want, it doesn't mean you're stuck there, right? Because that means you can then move forward. And when we're talking about disasters, we're talking about crisis. It's all kinds of crises and disasters. It's not just natural or man-made disasters. It's other kinds of crises that are either in our lives or our businesses. So initially you had a life crisis, and now you had a business crisis because you weren't where you wanted to be. That morning when you made the decision and that exit strategy, how did that make you feel?
Probably the best word is very determined, because I looked at it as it was going to take my life if I stayed there. I wasn't able to, I didn't really have peace of mind in the way that I knew I could have by being out and doing the things I love. I love people, and I was very limited to only the people that were, right there. And it has been amazing, because making that decision, I knew it would change things, but I had no idea how much it would change. And, listening to other people talk about it, a lot of people saw it as a failure, and it was such a success. Like, that's the thing I want to say. Even if people don't understand what you're doing or how you have to pivot, go by what you know. Learn about you, and do the things that you love, because this has been the best thing. It's been the best thing I've ever done.
Well, I wouldn't be doing this summit, and I wouldn't have crisis knowledge management if it weren't for you and Kirsten O'Shields, because I was quitting and I wanted to go off into a different direction. And you had a conversation with me saying, no, you're not doing that. Then you showed up on my doorstep when I tried to write my first class. And I was terrified of doing the videos, and you show up with your husband on the doorstep to say, yes, we're doing this. And then if it weren't for Kirsten O'Shield, I wouldn't have ever, I was ready to quit. So it's people like, we all need people like that, especially when we're going through some kind of a crisis or some kind of a disaster. We really need to know we have to take care of other people's backs. And when we see that they're going down a path that they don't want to go, or they shouldn't be going, we need to make them stop and think about it, which is, so I owe you a great deal of gratitude for that. And I think that being a part of your mastermind group has been a great gift in being able to help me flourish with this and help me help others flourish. I mean, the CKIM advisors, they're really benefiting from everything that I've learned from the mastermind groups and the amazing people we have in them. So you started a new business, and I have to admit, okay, I got to tell this story really quick because this is, so I had gotten my life mastery consultant with Mary Morrissey, and I had heard Brendan Bouchard speak several times because he's best friends with her son. And I got talked into by somebody else to come to the Brendan Bouchard event in San Diego. Well, the whole way there, I'd already heard him speak. I already knew what he was about. And the whole day there, I'm just complaining to myself that I actually got hooked into this. I get there, and I'm sharing a hotel with two people that I've never met before. And I get there, and it was probably about an hour and a half after meeting Kim White that I said, I didn't come to meet or see Brendan Bouchard. I came because I needed to meet Kim White. So we have to go with those. Okay, I didn't want to do it. It wasn't in my plans. I only went because you had to put down $100, and if you didn't show up, you had to pay $500. So it was a major money incentive for me to go. But the bottom line is, when we are looking at something like that, and just like the technology glitches we had yesterday on the summit, when we're having those kinds of things happen, there's I call them crystalline moments, and there's always a gift or opportunity. So what Kim White did is start a business called My Sexy Business. Now, the first time I heard that, I went, say, what? What kind of business is this? So Kim, tell us about My Sexy Business.
And honestly, I think this is one of the cool parts about our business is we do get a reaction. People are a little stunned at first thinking about those words, but I am telling you, sexy means a lot of things. And to me, sexy is collaboration. Sexy is community. Sexy is, being creative. Sexy is having a life you love and a business that supports that. A sexy business supports a sexy life. So it is not, what most people immediately think of, but it's the iconic old school way of building long-term relationships with people who stay with you, clients who stay with you, instead of having to always search for new clients, which we have plenty of, people that come in, but we don't really lose the old ones. We don't really lose the other clients because they have figured out how to have their sexy businesses and support their sexy lives. So I think it's amazing. Of course, I'm prejudiced about it because I love it, but but I think it's really important to have a life you love and have a business that does not own you. You own it, and it creates a life and a lifestyle that you like.
So if I am in some kind of crisis mode when it comes to my business, what do I need to think about to change that and create my own sexy business? What are the first couple of steps?
I think, and this may sound like kind of crazy, I guess, but I think when you go through any kind of a crisis or a disaster or anything like that, I think it's an opportunity to get clear about what you really want. I think it gives us the opportunity to stop holding on to things that we actually are just used to and comfortable with, and gives us the opportunity to figure out what it is that lights us up, what it is that when we get out of bed in the morning, we can't wait to go do it. or, the things that we really want out of life, to me, get very clear when you're going through something like that, because it gets really simple. Sometimes it's as simple as you need to find another place to stay because your house is, flooded or burned, or like all kinds of disasters happen. But it gives you that moment of pause that allows you some, I know it's hard. Like, I know those things are hard, but it does have a gift attached to it of that pause to get clear about what you really want, what really matters to you.
Well, you've heard me say this 100 times, or probably 1,000 times, that, the loss of Tom, my husband, 10 years ago, I tried to go back to my old life, and not being willing to listen to my heart. I'm still listening to my ego. I fought it, and I thought I could go back to that old life. And I tried it for 6 weeks and found out that that couldn't happen. And I think that this time right now, where we are right now with the pandemic and where we are, I hope I've heard people say they're taking the time to think about what it is that they really want in their life and what they really want in their business. And I'm hoping that as we're coming out of this, that people are sincere about making those changes, and they're listening to their heart and making sure, because I can tell you, for me, listening to my heart, and I had to be forced into it. I tried to go back to my old life, and it was like I was having an out-of-body experience. Something was going on over here, and I was listening over here. So it's important for us to recognize those moments, those crystalline moments, and understand and look for. You have to look for the gift. Kim had to look for what she wanted to create. She had to go deep inside. And so this is whether it's a personal crisis or a business crisis or a disaster, or some people call them failures. But as we all know, there's no such thing as a failure. It's just a course correction. And I'm sure, Kim, you've made a few course corrections in your life since you started My Sexy Business.
I have made a lot of course corrections my whole life. I won't even just say right now. I have done that my whole life because I am open to that. I am not following ego in this. I I have nothing to prove to anyone. And I think that that's a really sexy place to be also, is to confidence is sexy. When you are confident about who you are, what you want, who you serve, like, then it's easy to have a business and a life that fits that. It's the trying to do what everybody tells you to do to build a business. Or I will tell you another secret, and that is, if you are going from a job, the infamous job, to creating a business, a lot of times you don't know any better than to create another job. You're just the new one that's got to, dictate to you, but you've created another job. And I think part of the sexiness of a business is to have scalability that doesn't involve your time. To not trade time for money, trade value for money. So I think that that's another really big tip when you have the opportunity to get clear, and you have the opportunity to slow down and pause for a minute, consider what really matters, and then consider the outcome from the possibility side of it, because you don't know a lot of times that you can actually attain those things. We look at social media and we see all these fancy pictures, but the truth is that wasn't what I was, wanted. I wanted to travel. And so my husband and I travel full time. And to me, that is sexy. That is a sexy thing that we have the opportunity to do. But that's not everybody's sexy. You have to find what is aligned with you and learn what it is that fits your life.
Exactly. Exactly. I think, I mean, yeah, once you figure out, I've talked about this before, in that crisis knowledge management is really, in the CKM Solutions Group, is my entire life. Everything I did, all good and bad, was in making me learn and become the person that I need to be able to have CCAM solutions and be able to write crisis knowledge management certification. And I want to bring up another point, because you're really big into collaboration. And, you cannot do these changes. You cannot do these pivots without collaboration with people. And you mentioned that sometimes people are not always in favor of what you're trying to accomplish. You need to be clear about what it is where you want to end up. What's your vision for where you want to end up? And then people will collaborate with you. Collaboration brings in the people that you need to have. That's what happened to me with my incredible team. So collaboration, you do collaboration summits, you do all of that. What are some key things that people need to know about collaboration, and how might that relate to some kind of a crisis or disaster?
That's a great question, Miss Connie. I think that collaboration, and just so the world knows, I am obsessed with collaboration because I understand the power of it. Anyone who's not obsessed with it has not yet experienced the power of it. We have heard it misused so many times that, a lot of people shy away from the word, but the truth is, if you understand what a real collaboration looks like, that's the first thing you want to do in a crisis. It's the first thing you want to do in your business. It's the first thing you want to do in your life, because all the goodness actually comes from a lifestyle of collaboration. The times where you need more profit in your business, I'm telling you the answer is collaboration. The time that you need to, get up after a storm has come through or after something has happened, collaboration holds so many, sweet spots for helping each other, not just helping yourself, but helping others at the same time. And I think that's one of the secret sauce things about collaboration, is it helps a lot of people all at once. It's not just you. You get what you need, but so does everybody that's with you in that collaboration. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, it really does. Yes. When you're looking at something like, let's just take, for example, you've gone through your house being flooded through in January. So you know what it's like. You need to have people out there that are going to support you. And the people that are going to support you are the people that you're collaborating with, right? I mean, those are the people that are going to say, let me help you. What can I do to help you? That's collaboration. Collaboration, as you've explained, collaboration is not when somebody says, oh, well, if you buy this, we'll collaborate. That's not collaboration. So when it comes to whether it's your business or a crisis or disaster that happens in your home, the people around you that are supporting you you're collaborating with. They're the ones that are going to help to make you whole again and give you the incentive to keep moving forward. So collaborating with those people ahead of time is really, that's what being a CCAM advisor is really all about. Because part of becoming a CCAM advisor, the number one reason is you want to give back to your community. You want to show your community how to be better prepared. But here's the secret to that. The secret is that when you're out there giving back to your community and helping different organizations and your church and different groups, schools be better prepared, when they're wanting your services, who are they going to call? Because you're visible and they know that you're authentic and that you're giving back. And that just gave me goosebumps. That's the epitome of collaboration. That really is. I mean, being able to find some kind of means, whether CCAM advisors or something else, finding something that you can do that will draw people to you because you're giving back. That's the essence of collaboration, right?
It's really sexy, Miss Connie.
Thank you. I've learned from my sexy business. Well, Kim, you and I could probably talk for 2 hours and take up this whole summit. But as a matter of fact, one of her mastermind group, one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm collaborating with the mastermind group, and we're supporting one another each of us are going to be doing our own summits. So this is collaboration. This is an example of collaboration. So my dear, I love you dearly. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And I cannot wait for our next mastermind.
Oh, by the way, love you, Miss.
How do people find you?
The simplest way is probably just to go to the website, mysexybusiness.com. I would love to offer that they can get a magazine. Like, we publish a magazine, and you can find out more about us by like reading that magazine, and it's free. So you can find that on the website too. And I do want to thank you, Miss Connie, for not only this opportunity, but for the fact that you are diligently applying collaboration, and your goal of helping 30 million people be prepared in the next 5 years makes me so proud. And I feel like that when you work with people like you, that's the best part of the business. Like, that's the best part for me, because now I get to see you impact 30 million lives. So I think it's pretty sexy, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, my dear. All right. All right. Well, we'll be talking soon, I'm sure. I'll probably try. I'm going to try to see you on Clubhouse too soon. So
Okay.
she showed up on my very first one. Oh my.
You're just
Lots
fine.
to learn. All right. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Bye-bye.